Okay. So this course of our learning, we should have the base of English. Should be a panacea.
Amen.
We're going to start Lamed Dalet Amud Beis at the Mishnah. This is a new sugya. In case you missed something, this is the sugya of Esrog. Yeah. So it starts like this. Esrog hagazel vayavish pasol. Stolen Esrog. Here I can already imagine someone stealing. By Darav, I was a little surprised. But an esrog, something valuable. Someone stole an esrog. He wants to use it for sukkah. So vayavish, or it's dried out. So that's both of those are possible. That's clear that the esrog needs to be hadar. It's hadar. That we know. And stolen, right? It needs to be yours, not stolen. On the later days after the first day, then it would have the status of mitzvah bavera, possibly. Okay, shalasheira v'shalyarni dachas. Let's see, the esrog came from a sheira tree. A sheira is a tree of avodah zarah. But let's say it came from Erni Dachas. It's a city that needs to be destroyed because the majority worship the avodah zarah. Both of those are possible. We'll see in the Gemara why. It doesn't have a measurement because they need to be burnt. Shel Arla, Rashi doesn't say pasul yet, but it doesn't matter. Arla is going to be pasul. Shel Truma Tmeya is pasul. Truma is given to the Kayan. No problem. What about if it's Truma Torah? That we'll see in a minute. But if it's Tmeya, then no one can eat it. And there's a problem if you can't eat the esrog. It says in the pasuk lachem that it's for you for all types of benefit. Yeah, there's a discussion today, a modern discussion, because they use these pesticides that need to be regulated. But that's all, the regulations are only for edible for foods that are for consumption. For ornamental flowers and other things, not necessarily, it doesn't need to be regulated. So what would happen if they used the pesticide on the esrog? They called it ornamental, and you don't want to eat it. So is it considered edible at that point? Interesting question. Okay. So Truma Tameya, that would be possible. So Truma Tahira. Truma Tahira is only a Kayan can eat it. So it says Lo Yita. You shouldn't take it lachatchila. However, I'm not told, but if you did use it, we're not talking about specifically the Kayan shaking a lulav, an esrog from Arla. Rabbi Yisrael that's using an esrog. You're even a Yisrael. And we say that it's kosher. You can't eat it. Well, someone else can eat it. And you can get hana, other types of hana from it. Right? Okay, shel demai. Demai is food that was purchased from an amaretz. We don't trust them 100% that the meiser was taken. But we trust them a little bit, but it's not really 100%. So what's going to be the din over there? Bishamai place them bisel machshir. It's machlekes bishamai bisel hey. Bishamai says you can't use demai. Wow. And Basil says that you can. Yeah, we're going to learn why. It doesn't. Wow, very nice. What's the pshat? We'll see in the Gemara that there's a discussion regarding if an ani, someone that doesn't have other food, if he's allowed to eat, the mine. If an ani is allowed to eat the mine. And then once an ani, a poor person, is allowed to eat the mai is food that we're not sure if the tithes, because it was purchased from someone that wasn't reliable. So if that's the case, then maybe any person could become an ani. How? They're mafkar all their possessions. We're on Daf Lamed Dalet, Amud Beis, we're in the Mishnah. So Meiser Sheni, that's produce that's taken to Yerushalayim. It's eaten, a tie that's eaten in Yerushalayim, 34b. Lamed Dalet, Amud Beis. So Yerushalayim, if you're in Yerushalayim, then Layito, then you shouldn't use it. You shouldn't use it lachatchila. They're not all as kosher. Yeah, what happened to outside Yerushalayim? Also, chazazis el rubai. Chazazis is some sort of spots. If spots come on the majority of the esrog, or nitla pitmasei, or the pitum. Who knows what the pitum is, right? It's the top of the esrog. Or nikla, or the peel of the, or peeled off. The skin of the esrog peeled. Nistak was split. Nikir v'chisa kolshu. I'm reading that together. Nikir v'chisa kolshu. If it had a hole, it's missing something. Why? Why is that important? Because it could also be a hole that's not missing anything. Why? With a pin, you make a hole, there's nothing missing. You could also make a hole with a fork, and I pull something out. Right? There's two types of hole. Which one is puzzle? So the problem would be, unless it went through all the way through. The problem would only be if it's nika vichis kolshu. It needs to have a hole and it's missing. That's going to be puzzle. Also, let's say these spots are only on the minority of it, or nital uktzai, or the bottom of the ukitz was removed. Nika v'leichis kolshu. It has a hole, but it's not missing anything. It's just a pinhole. That's going to be kasher. Something that could be with someone with long fingernails. Yeah, the esrogim sellers get very nervous when the ladies come in to look at the esrogim, especially if they have painted nails. Not like the paint does anything, but it just makes it more obvious that, oh no, careful. But if it's not missing anything, it's still kosher. Esrog akushi. Yeah, this is not so correct, politically correct. An Ethiopian esrog. Rashi says it's an Ethiopian esrog and it's also black. Does it really need to be both of those? I think what I would have said is that it's just a nickname for a black esrog, esrog akushi. Why does it have to really come from Ethiopia? And what's the association? Because it comes from Ethiopia and people in Ethiopia are black, so they're right. There's a double. It doesn't need to be like that. I don't know why Rashi has to say that. The fruit is black. Yeah, the black esrog. Yeah. I haven't seen it. So okay, but the halacha is that it's possible. By Yarakakashi, let's say it's green like a leek. We had this the other day. If it's green, Rabbi Meir Machshav Rabbi the place. Rabbi Meir says that it's kosher. Rabbi says that it's possible. It's machlekes. It's machlekes if it's considered right. Shir esrog akatan. What's the smallest esrog you can have? Rabbi Meir says the size of a walnut, pretty small. And Rabbi Yehuda says that it's the size of an egg. Sounds like it's larger than that. Ubegadol, how big is the biggest esrog? What's the maximum size? So Kadeshi Yachishnayim biyadai. Rabbi Yehuda holds that you should be able to hold two esrogim in one hand. We learned before the explanation because in case you put the lulav in the wrong hand and you want to switch it, if you can't hold two esrogim in one hand, you may drop the esrog and it would become puzzle. So Rabbi Yisrael Rafilu Echad B'Shtei Rabbi says no, a kosher esrog is even if you can hold one esrog in two hands. Yeah, a very large esrog. Okay, we're on top of Daf Lamed Hey. Tanu Rabbanon was taught in a brayso creates other. It says it was the brayso quotes the pasuk creates other. A fruit of a tree, hadar, which probably means beautiful. Eitz, shatam eitzei upir yeshava. The fact that it says pre-eitz, fruit of the tree, added in of the, right? Fruit tree. So it says that it's actually that the wood is edible, or that the wood, not the wood is edible, but the wood has the flavor of the fruit. Shatam eitzei upir yeshava. We explained from the Sam Sefer that always the peel has the same flavor as the bark. I think you would eat it, but if you would chew it, it would have the same flavor. So the peel of the esrog is the main fruit because the peel is so thick. the inside, it's almost nothing. It's not like a lemon. The peel is something. Exactly the opposite. So Haviyomer Esrog. You say this is referring to the Esrog. Ve'ima pilpulin. Maybe it's a pepper tree or pepper bush. When it comes to pepper, what the Gemara is suggesting here is that maybe instead of an esrog, we should be taking a peppercorn. Yeah, I don't know how they make money selling that. Very small. So how would we get that? We says priyat hadar, and the bark of the pepper bush tastes like the pepper. It's the value. So it says Kidatanya. Look at this price. Hayya Reb Meir used to say. It's understood from based on what it says in the pasuk in the Tatum Kol Eitz Meichel. It says when you come into the land of Israel and you plant a tree, so you have to wait 3 years for a fruit tree. Do I not know that it's a fruit tree? So why does it have to say you plant a fruit tree? It says you have to wait 3 years for the fruit. We know it's talking about a fruit tree. Why does it have to add that in? It's coming to tell me it's coming to tell me that it applies also to the tree, that the fruit and the tree taste the same. The fruit and the bark taste the same. And it's a chiddush. It's telling me that Orla applies to peppers, not the peppers that we have, like bell peppers or hot peppers or something. Definitely not peppercorn. Because it's a bush. Right? Is there Moshe here? Yeah. Moshe told me he used to grow pepper. And, I think I don't know how it works, but I think you have to like shake it out of a.
Yes.
So how tall does
it grow those?
How tall does it grow?
Taller than a person. I mean, it's a tall bush. Yeah.
Because Rashi says that I could have thought that it would be considered a vegetable because it's a low tree. It says Raisam.
Yeah, it's not a big tree, but it grows at I don't know 8-10 feet. I mean, it grows into a big bush. Yeah.
So it's coming. The chiddush over here is that pepper would be chayiv in Orla. Orla means that you have to wait 3 years before you eat the peppercorns. So, but whatever the case is, I have a brisa that tells me that tam eitze upirya yeshava, that the fruit and the bark is the same, and that's exactly what it tells me by that the fruit and the bark is the same. So I could have thought that I'm supposed to use pepper. Come to teach me that pepper is chayiv in Arla. Means I have to wait 3 years from when I plant it to when I can use the produce. It's also telling me that Eretz Yisrael has everything. It's not lacking anything. It even has pepper. There's nothing lacking there. Okay. Question is, how do you know that creates hadar means esrog? Maybe it means pepper. The Gemara says, well, it's just a practical reason. Because it would be impossible to use the pepper. What do you want to do? Ninkad chada. If you're just going to take one peppercorn and you put it together with the lulav thing, it says it won't be recognizable that you did a lakicha, that you did anything to take. It's too small. I don't know why that's an issue. Does it say that you have to see it? Maybe it means that it won't be significant. All right, the Torah says so, then it would be significant. The Gemara says, okay, so ninka treyet lasa. Maybe take a few peppercorn. Take like a handful or some sort. It says echad amarachmana, v'leishnayim, or pri, which means it says one fruit. It doesn't say to take 2 or 3. V'leishnayim v'shleisha peres. Hilkach layafsher. Okay, the Gemara just rejects it. Yeah, what exactly is this rejection? The Gemara understands that it can't be this. Yeah, this could be a proof that when the Gemara goes through this, it's like dialogue. Is it this? Is it that? The Gemara knows the answer already. It knows the answer from tradition. We're just looking for what's the source in the Torah for that. I mean, we know because my father used to nesser, my grandfather used to nesser. I know what I'm supposed to take. What we're doing over here is we're saying, well, how do you know that that's really the source for it in the Torah? We're combining two things: tradition with the text. Yeah. Yeah, we're looking for where it was derived from, even though we know what to do from tradition. Yeah. It can't be. It's impossible. Rebbe has another pshat. Al tikri hadar ela hadir. What's deer? And it's same with deer. What's a deer? What grade are you? What grade are you? 6th grade? Are you going into 6th? Yeah, coming from 6th. So there's a Mishnah kind of thing with deer. Remember that? Brings sheep into a pen. Deer is a pen. It's like a cage, like a barn here. But they would move it from place to place to fertilize it. So don't call it pre-eitz hadar, call it pre-eitz hadir. Change the vowels. So what does that have to do with the pen? It says madir yesh b'gedalim, just like in the pen. You have big animals, small animals. Tmimim ubali mumim. You have animals that are perfect. You have animals that have a blemish. So achinami yesh b'gedalim muktanim tmimim ubali mumim. Also on the esrog, you have perfect ones, imperfect ones, big ones, small ones. That's the pshat, the esrog tree, that you have all types. Is the Gemara saying that on the pepper tree, I don't have all types, all peppercorns are the same? Is that what it's trying to say? That the esrog has all different types. The Gemara says right away, up to sharpest, less bugadelim tanutimim malibum. You don't have this on every other tree. Rashi says an apple tree. You don't have this. You don't have big ones, small ones, perfect ones, imperfect ones. They have so many different grades of produce. Doesn't it? Why specifically would this mean an esrog? It's elahachi kamer. This is what it means. Ad shaban ketanim adayim gedelim kayamin. That you have all different stages of the fruit on the same tree. Yeah, someone just told me he was trimming his mango trees. Mordechai Oleski, I remember him trimming. He's unfortunately, but Mordechai. He would tell me always, you have to trim before August 15th. I don't know, but that's what they would say in the industry. So so he trimmed the tree. He said it was full of, just this week, it was full of mangoes. It was on somewhere on the top. But basically, usually there's a season. Season's over, it's finished. On the Esek tree, what the Gemara is telling us is that there's no real season. You have a season, you have it ripens at a certain time, but on the tree you have all the stages of development of the fruit at any time. There's small ones and medium sized, and larger ones ripen. Yeah, so that's where do Estragum grow? Yeah, I'm not sure. I think it has to do with some citrus gives us produce once a year. Some citrus gives twice a year. And some it's just like random, like just flowers, and you just get produce. I think it has to do with the type of citrus. So you have all stages of development of the fruit on the tree. Rabavo Amar Al Tikri Hadar, Ella Davar Shadar or Hadar Davar Shadar Bilana Mishana Lashana. We're talking about something that stays on the tree for the whole year. Yeah, it's a very long, you have to wait a long time for it to develop. That's right. So Hadar means to dwell, right? That means it dwells, the esrog dwells on the tree the whole year. We have a few pshatim so far. First pshat was that pre-eitz, that the bark needs to taste like the fruit. Then we said it's similar to a pen, that it has all types of animals in it. Then we said that's not what he means. It means that it has all different stages on the tree of development. at the same tree does. And then now Rabbi Vo says that it just stays on the tree for the whole year. Benaza Yomer al tikrei hadar ele eder. Shekim b'lashon Yevani kain l'mayim eder. In Greek, the Gemara tells us that the Greek word for water is hydro. Hadar. The esrog, right? The esrog comes from the Greek word. I'm sorry? Yeah, sure. Sure. Speaking of water. So, yeah, I'm not sure. What does the Gemara mean? That it grows on any type of water? I guess it means that it could grow from rain. It could grow from other types of irrigation. Grow by the river. Haviyam is esrog. Or maybe it means it grows from all the different rains, all the different seasons, because it's on the tree. Yeah. It doesn't have to be next to a body of water, no? Right? Oh, the willow tree also doesn't need to be next to the body of water. It just needs to be from the type that grows near the body of water. Okay, so that's our another pshat over here, that Priyat Hadar means hydro. It means that it can grow on all the different types of water. How does he explain over there in the water? Does he say anything? All water sources. Okay. All water sources. Okay, I'm sorry, I skipped. Shall Asher V'Shalani Dachas Pasal, an Asher tree, right? It's Avodah Zarah. And Irni Dachas come from a city of Avodah Zarah. All that's Pasal. My time, why is it Pasal? Take even those three for Koi, Ktsute Mechta Shiri. Since it's meant to be burnt, so it's considered like it's burnt already. And it's as if it's burnt. As if it's burnt means that it doesn't have a shear. It doesn't have a shear. The esrog had a measurement. What was the measurement? Either a walnut or an egg size. But this is burnt, so it doesn't have a shear. Yeah, that's the halacha by a shofar as well. I'm starting to learn the shofar. What's the shear of a shofar? It's supposed to stick out from both sides. In your hand, it's a bit more than a pepper. So, but let's say you take a shofar from a Avodah Zarah animal or something, or a shofar that was supposed to be destroyed. I don't want to come from an Asherah tree. It doesn't grow on a tree, but it would be outside Asr Bana. So that would be supposed to be burned, but it doesn't have a shear. Okay, now we're up to Shel Arla. Okay, here you have to concentrate. An esrog of Arla is Pasal. Arla is the first 3 years. Yeah. Doesn't discuss here Rivai, 4th year. Okay, let's see, why is it Pasal? My time, what's the reason why an esrog of Arla is Pasal? We don't ask usually. Why don't we ask by the esrog seller? Is it Arla? I guess we assume that he picked them and he knows. He knows the age of the tree. But whatever the case is, why is it Pasal? Pligi barabchia baravan barabasi. Yeah, there's a gears over here that drops bar oven. If that's the case, it would be a machlikas Rabchi and Rabasi. Rabchi is way before Rabasi, several generations before. But Rabchi Barav and Rabasi would fit better, at least in their what they're arguing. One reason why Arla is possible is because you have to be able to eat esrog. Like we said, lachem, and it needs to be ready for you for all types of benefits, all types of pleasures, which includes eating. And on Arla esrog, you can't eat. Can't have other hana from it either. Other one says that it has no value because you can't do anything with it. You can't sell it. You can't have any benefit. So basically, it's worthless. So, and it says lachem that it's yours. Yours for what? If you can't do anything with it,
That's why it's yours. So then nobody else wants it.
I know, but it's not. What does it mean yours? Yours, if there's no benefit and no value to it. So what do you own? What is it?
No, I mean, it's like when someone asks, but how much is that? If you were to sell it, so depends on what they get for it.
Right.
So if no one wants it,
No,
it's got
right.
no value.
Right.
That's what yours.
Yeah.
You want to say, it's yours, it has to be valuable. It has to be something.
Yeah. Ownership means what is ownership? Well, part of ownership is usage, right? The use value. Or at least that you can sell it or trade.
I wouldn't want your legacy. I don't want your old stocks, but
Right.
it's yours to have a kinship to it.
So here you don't have anything. You can't trade it, and you have no use for it either. There's nothing. There's nothing there, so it's not considered yours. So kasal kadai, we have a machlekes here.
Compost it.
Actually, I think it's supposed to be burned. Yeah. So we have two possible reasons why the esrog of Orla is possible. Both of them are associated with lachem, that it's not yours. But why is it not yours? One is because you can't eat it.
No way.
And the second reason is because it has no monetary value. Okay, now, what's the difference? But kasal kadaita, kasal kadaita, first our initial understanding of this is that mandabai heter achila lebai din mammon, and mandabai din mammon lebai heter achila. What we're going to do now is we're going to compare it to two other cases. What about Meiser Sheni? Meiser Sheni is produce that I have to take to Yerushalayim. It's a tenth of my produce. I take it second time, eat it in Yerushalayim. When I get to Yerushalayim, I can eat it. But is it really mine? Well, can I use it to marry a woman? Can I say, here, with this money, you are married to me, with this value of this fruit? And Rav Meir says no. He says it's not really yours. Let's say like a carbon or something that you eat. Is it yours that you can give it as a gift to someone else? No, it's sort of like you took it off the altar. It's from God's table or something. This is also Mishulchan Gavaya. It's from God's table. It's there for you to eat. You can't just go. Look, if you go to a party, you can eat over there, but you can't say, "Oh, this is great. I can now look at all these things I could sell." You don't
know the people there.
Kiddush. You don't have those rights, right? So it's sort of like the Meiser Sheni is Mishulchan Gavaya. It's not really yours. You're just allowed to eat it. So
Wait, when the guy goes to Yerushalayim and sells his last,
he's there. He has his Meiser Sheni.
He brings his family.
Yeah, they can all eat it.
They can all eat.
Yeah.
So,
but it's a heter achila. You're allowed to eat it, but it's not really mammon. It's not yours to trade or to. So, according to the opinion that holds that it's a heter achila, okay, Meiser Sheni would also be good. According to the opinion that says that din mammon, that Arla, the problem of Arla, that it wasn't considered a monetary value, then Meiser Sheni would not be good. According to the opinion that holds Meiser Sheni, this second problem here, it's a machlekes if Meiser Sheni is considered yours or if it's considered mammon gavaya. Right? Mammon gavaya. There's two opinions, and that would depend on how if I accept the opinion that it's not really yours, then there would be a difference here on how I like. Now, one more item. Tevel. Tevel I'm not allowed to eat. Tevel is the produce that the tithes were not taken from. Untied. I can't eat it. But I can have other benefits. I could trade it. It's still mine. So if it has to do with when it comes to the esrog, if I have to be able to eat it in an esrog of tevel, so then I can't eat it. But if it's mine, if it has to do with my money, monetary value, it has a monetary value. Okay, so let's see. Tanan. What we're thinking now is that each opinion is exclusive of the other one. The one that says heter achila does not care about if it has a monetary value, and the one that says monetary value doesn't care if it's heter achila. Tanan, we learned in the Mishnah, shel truma tameya is psula or puzzle, an esrog of truma tameya. Why is it puzzle? The esrog is truma, but it became tamid. Why is it puzzle? Well, you can't eat it. Ah, perfect. According to the one that says that you have to be able to eat it, I understand. I'm allowed to use this esrog as fuel while I'm cooking something on the stove. I can throw in an esrog of truma tameya. I can't eat it, but I can use it as fuel. I don't know how much fuel you'll get out of it, but whatever. I can still get other types of benefits from it while it's burning.
We talk about the color.
Not necessarily. Let's say it's a coin. It doesn't matter, but it still would have. It still has a value to whoever is going to be using it. It's tummy. Yeah, we're going back to discuss. What we're doing is, when it comes to Arla, we have two opinions what the problem is. Based on those two opinions, or depending on those two opinions, now we're going to discuss other things and see which one would fit, which opinion fits best. Right now, Truma Tameya fits best with the opinion of Heter Achila for Arla, because we're seeing that it's puzzle, and Truma Tameya is also puzzle. Okay. Ela beheter achila, rather the Gemara explains like this. Kuli amalei pligi debin. Everyone holds that the esrog needs to be edible. Ki pligi b'din mammon. The whole machlekes is, does it also need to have a monetary value? Mar savar heter achila binan din mammon lai binan. One holds that it doesn't need to have a monetary value. If that's the case, Meiser Sheni would be permissible. An esrog of Meiser Sheni would be permissible. Why? Because you could eat it. Can't sell it. Can't use it as money to marry a woman. But so what? According to this opinion, you only have to eat it. Marsavadin Mama Nami Bin, another opinion holds that it needs to have a monetary value, a trade value. My Binayu, what's the difference between these two opinions? Binayu, my Susheni Shabir Shalim Malibadar Mayor. The difference is, we explained this as we were learning, that the difference is according to Reb Meir regarding my Susheni and Yerushalayim. Rav Meir's opinion is that my Sheni, the second tithe, is not really yours. You can't use it to marry a woman. You can eat it, but that's all you can do. According to the opinion that says that the only thing that's required by an esrog is that it has to be edible. So my Sheni is also edible. According to the opinion that says that Arla needs to have a monetary value, a trade value. Meiser Sheni does not have a trade value. It would be puzzle as well. So basically what we just did was like this. We know Arla is puzzle as an esrog. Can't use an esrog tomorrow. So if you plant your esrog tree, you have to wait 3 years. But there's two reasons why. Two possible reasons. One, because it needs to be edible. One, because it needs to have a trade value. And Arla doesn't have a trade value. Whatever the reason is for Arla, now let's go over to Meiser Sheni. Meiser Sheni I'm allowed to eat. It's very different from Arla. But it doesn't have a trade value. So depending on what the reason is by Arla, that's going to tell me if Meiser Sheni is acceptable as an esrog. To Stayim, let it be settled, let it be proven that Rabbi Asi, we had a machlekes here, two reasons, Rabbi and Rabbi Asi, what's the reason by Arla? So, but we didn't say who holds what. So let it be settled that Rabasi, the Amr Lepishem Bedin Mammon. Now Rabasi holds that it needs to have a trade value, monetary value. The Amr Rabasi, because Rabasi said Esrik Shal Meiser Sheni, and Esrik of Meiser Sheni is going to be very clear. The Divri Reb Meir, according to Reb Meir, Ein Adam Yetzi B'Yedei Chavasa B'Yam Tefinat Yetze. Go to Yerushalayim. You took with you all the Meiser Sheni money, and you'll have everything that you need food-wise. But when you went to the store and you try to use your Meiser Sheni credit card, I can't believe it needs to be Tzartak Esed, it needs to be coins. So you try to use your Meiser Sheni coins to buy a esrog, and the coins fall straight through and they come out. Remember the phone thing that doesn't accept. Accept it. Okay. Because there's my Sheni can't be used for the esrog needs to have a trade value. Yeah. My Sheni doesn't have a trade value.
Unique coin. It's good only one.
It only purchases food things. Yeah. Right. Gufa. Gufa. We go back to explain something that was said before.
It's a card.
And they have a card. You would get card. You would get the.
You get a little green stuff, put them in the envelope, and then you bring it
That's for the cigarette. That is my cigarettes. And the cigarettes.
I wasn't smoking.
So Gufa, let's go back to what we said before. Rabasi says Esrog Shemaisa Sheni, a Maisa Sheni Esrog. We're talking about like this. Either you grew it, you grew esrogim. Maisa Sheni maybe only from the grain. I don't know if it applies to the fruits biblically. Whatever the case is, you took the money from the produce of you exchanged the Meiser Sheni produce for money. You end up in Yerushalayim and you have an esrog over there that's from Meiser Sheni. You can't use it to fulfill the mitzvah on Yom Tov. This esrog. But according to the Chachamim, you can. Why? Chachamim hold that Meiser Sheni money is actually yours. Yeah. Well, like you go to the hotel, they give you the things in the shower, like the soaps and shampoos, whatever. Is it yours? Or is it there for you to use? Right? So it's yours. The towel. So, Meiser Sheni, you go to Yerushalayim. It's there for you. It's there for you to eat. According to Reb Meir, it's there for you to eat. According to the Chacham, it's there for you to use to do anything you want, not just eat. You could take it and give it as a gift to a woman and say, with this, you're married to me. That's a machlaikas. Well, based on that machlaikas, very interesting. I can use the esrog for the mitzvah. If it, not to use the esrog to marry, you can use the esrog to shake the esrog because it's yours in a monetary, you have that ownership. Matzah shel Meiser Sheni, what about matzah? What about matzah? Matzah of Meiser Sheni. This is very surprising. According to the Chachamim, you do fulfill your obligation with matzah of Meiser Sheni. According to Reb Meir, not. Well, let's wait a minute. We're just going to ask on that. When it comes to you making bread, you have the dough. A certain amount of flour that's used, 43 and a fifth eggs of flour that's used, you have to take challah. Challah in those days was 1/48 of the dough for a baker, 1/24 for a homeowner, and you would have to give it to the kohen. So today it's just a pinch. You just take a handful of it, and that's all we do today. It's just remembering the challah, especially chuslan. But it says arisei seichem, your dough. It's not yours, then you don't have to do it. So it's Meiser Sheni. Is Meiser Sheni yours? That's a machlaikas. Reb Meir says no. According to Reb Meir, you don't have to take challah. Okay, Maskefler of Papa has a question. Bishleima Isa, I understand why the dough, you're exempt. It says yours, your dough, not yours. because it's my Sheni. You could eat it, but it's not yours. Esrog nami ksiv lachem. The esrog also, it says, l'kachtem lachem, it's supposed to be yours. But Misha lachem, it's supposed to be, ela matzah miksiv matzaschem. By matzah, does it say your matzah? Matzaschem. There's matzah, that you should eat matzah. Be'erev teichel matzah. Doesn't say be'erev teichel matzaschem. So why is there an exemption if it's not yours? Amarav bar Shmuel v'teimer Rav Yim bar Shalmei yasya lechem lechem. It says it's exer shava. Ksiv hachal lechem ayni. By the matzah it says the parmian bread. Ksiv hasam, and over there it says vayavach lechem lechem aretz. When you will eat from the bread of the earth, by chala it says of the land, you come into the land. You'll come into the land and you'll eat from the bread. Just like by the challah, which is when you come into the land to eat the bread, that the challah, that needs to be yours. Yeah, Reb Naftali, give me 1 minute. We'll just finish to that. And not meiser. Lema Messiah. Let's bring a proof to what we just said. Dough of Meiser Sheni is exempt from challah, and the Chum say it's chayav and challah. The Gemara has a question. Lema Messiah. This is a proof. You just requoted the same thing that you said. Lema Messiah is, shall we say that this is a proof? But 1 second, you just quoted. You said the same thing. It's not like, shall we say it is? It is exactly what you said. Rather, what we're saying is, let us say that it's a proof that the same thing applies to esrog and the same thing applies to matzah. Maybe we should say that because it says by challah, it says Arisei Sechem twice, your dough, that over there it really needs to be yours. But by the other mitzvahs, it doesn't need to be yours. How do we know that we have that limud? So that's just saying, lema Messiah, let us say, or shall we say that it's a proof? Because there is a distinction. Okay, I asked, let's leave it over here. I asked Reb Naftali if we could name Menachem Abel. Yeah, I'll turn it.